Hi everyone. Hello, hello. The Facebook has changed its little things here, so I'm a little like not as aware uh, of everything how it's working these days. Like I don't even see that thing where the comments be. Hello, hello everyone. Hope that you're all doing good. There it goes. I think. Hi everyone. I don't even know where I can see the comments at. Blah blah. Oh, there it goes. Huh. I be slow sometimes with these things. Hi everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Hi Charlie. Hi Mambo Tanya. Hi Miss Ilie. Hi Angelica. Hi Mambo Sandy. I hope all of you guys are doing well. So, a few things. First off, please share, share, share. Um, Let me see. I should probably share this with my group right now, cause yeah, gotta share the information. Share if you care. Share if you dare. Go ahead and share this. Share and share, share. There we go. So I hope everyone's doing awesome and splendidly well today. So, today I wanted to talk a little bit about the spiritual journey, but I also wanted to talk about my spiritual brother, Hoodoo Saint Moise. So, before I get into all of that, a few things. Number one, we have WitchCon coming up this Saturday. I'm going to be teaching a class on domination magic, how to make people your willing slaves at WitchCon. So I'm really excited for that. My class is on Saturday. If you haven't checked it out, check out WitchCon. Second, we're doing a raffle drawing for anyone who is a sharer and anyone who leaves a review of my latest book, Espiritismo, Puerto Rican Mediumship and Magic, and it's available everywhere books are sold. If you leave a review, send me a screenshot where you're one of my frequent sharers. Just be like, hey, Papa, me, and I'm going to get you a raffle ticket, and that raffle is going to be drawn on March 3rd. Third is we have a misa at the end of the month, February 26th at 1 p.m. You can come in person or you can join virtually. So, today I wanted to discuss a few things, including the spiritual journey. So, recently, my younger spiritual brother, Hoodoo Saint Moise, who was also an author, a hoodoo worker, a conjure man, and a balero, as well as a hungan, passed away. For those of you who don't know Hoodoo Saint Moise, he wrote a book. It's called Working Conjure, and I believe he wrote another book too. And he had a book in the works, actually. And he's also who wrote the foreword for my book, The 21 Divisions, Mysteries and Magic of Dominican Voodoo. So he wrote the foreword by Hoodoo Saint Moise, author of Working Conjure. And one thing I want to say is that when people can't defend themselves or can't fight for themselves, that's when the vultures want to come out. And this is very true in life as well as the spiritual journey. And Hoodoo Saint Moise, or Kirk as I know him, Hoodoo Saint Moise, let me tell you, many of you ended up connected with me through Hoodoo Saint Moise or got to know me through this book, The 21 Divisions, Mysteries and Magic of Dominican Voodoo. It's funny that I've been on this scene, I've been online since 2000. I've been doing this work since 1989. Hi, Erica. And I knew lots of authors throughout the time, but no one put me on. No one put me on, no one hooked me up, except for Hoodoo Saint Moise. When he had the chance, he went ahead and he hooked me up and got me connected with the book publisher and got all that going. So it's because of Hoodoo Saint Moise that I was able to write the book, The 21 Divisions, Mysteries, and Magic of Dominican Voodoo. Okay? And lots of honor and respect to him. We always had a very great relationship with each other. Basically, our relationship was filled with lots of joking and laughter and lots of fun for the most part. He always was very good to me, and I was very good to him. And he he was a person that was very much a connector of other people. He very much reminded me of Legba in many ways because he used to make so many connections. He introduced me to so many people in New Orleans and everything. So it's still a bit of a shock that he's gone, and rest in peace and rise in power for him. We love him very much. But something that I noticed also that happened after his passing away, and this is something that's going to happen to you throughout the course of your spiritual journey, is that when the tree falls, the goats come and eat its leaves. When a person can't do anything, they can't defend themselves, that's when the vultures like to come out. And while the lions are eating, the vultures are just too scared to get involved. But when the lions are finished, the vultures have been circling around and circling around and circling around, waiting to get the scraps, which has been left behind by the lion. And many people in the world are more so vultures than lions. And it's something that you have to make that choice as to what you're going to be in your life, right? Through Hoodoo Saint Moise, I wrote this book. He got me connected with the publisher that had me write the 21 Divisions, Mysteries and Magic of Dominican Voodoo. And just this February 1st, I came out with this, Espiritismo, Puerto Rican Mediumship and Magic. And for those of you who are unaware, I also have a third book. This was actually my first book. It's self-published. It's Doña Juana, Journeys of a Bruja, Espiritista, and Healer. And what I want to talk to you about is the spiritual journey. When you start making progress in your spiritual journey, there's always going to be lots of vultures and lots of people looking to sabotage. Unfortunately, the spiritual community, as I was taught, is usually not that spiritual. There's often going to be times where people are going to look to shut you down, try to steal your light, as I made a post earlier, try to cut you down. And the spiritual journey is not an easy one. It's a lonely road. For those of you who have awakened to some of your spiritual abilities, or for those of you who are starting on the path or who've been on the path for some time, you must have realized that the spiritual path is a very lonely path. It can be a path. Why? Because at the end, it's only you and you alone that's either going to pass through that gate. You're not going to pass through that gate with anyone else. It's going to be you and you alone. And throughout that path, you're going to find that there's going to be lots of people who are either going to try to sabotage you, cut you down, or stop you from progressing. And you are going to have to go ahead and basically fight the battle, as we say, and fight the war and press on. Okay? There are more people in the world that would like to see you fail than people that would like to see you succeed. Okay? And this is because oftentimes your success for other people in their mind means their failure. Most of the time, people are not really thinking about you. Rather, they're very much concerned with themselves. And very often, people are going to be afraid that you're going to leave them behind. As you progress, that you're going to basically leave them behind. And it's likely so. Some people throughout the course of your spiritual journey, you will have to leave behind because they're choosing not to progress with you. A short little story is when there was a time in which I had some friends and some people around me, and I had decided that I needed to take my spiritual work to that next level. And so I informed everyone around me, like, look, I'm getting on my spiritual journey even deeper, and I'm really going to be taking this bus to progress. And if you don't hop on the bus now, okay, if you don't hop on the bus now, you're going to get left. A lot of people got left behind because they were too attached to the misery that they had and the misery that they knew rather than wanting something better or something more. Hi, Goddess Mother. So, what happens is envy, jealousy, hatred, resentment. Some people get resentful that you've left them behind because you've chosen to progress, right? I don't encourage my people to totally be unselfish. In order for you to progress spiritually, you're going to have to be selfish to a certain degree. You're going to have to be concerned with yourself and your path more so than being concerned with what other people may think about you or what other people may say about you. Okay? Throughout this past 22 years that I've been online, hi Amanda, throughout this past 22 years that I've been online, I've had lots of people attempt to attack me, attempt to break me down, bring me down. And, well, I'm still here 22 years later, and many of these people are no longer anywhere to be found. I'm still here 22 years later, and many of them long time ago fell off the spiritual path. Okay? You cannot allow what people say and what people do to distract you from your path and your journey. Other people will try to distract you from your path and from your journey. Okay? There's going to be a number of things that are going to happen to you as you spiritually progress. One thing that's going to happen to you, and it can oftentimes become a shock for many people, and for some people it can actually become something that is depressing for them, is that you're going to start to find out a lot of truth about people. You're going to start to find out a lot of ways that people actually operate. You're going to start to find out who's really there for you, who's your people, and who's not your people. You're also going to be finding out that a lot of what you live in is the matrix. A lot of what you believe important is not important. Love you, Trish, baby. Miss you. Right? A lot of things that people want to make you believe is important is not important. People are generally not going to be concerned with your happiness. They'd rather see you miserable like them. That's why the saying goes that misery loves company. Okay? I'm going to give you a little story, and some of you may recognize this story from yourselves, some may not. I had a goddaughter, and she came to me and she was like, Papa, I fell in love with someone, and people want to make me feel bad because of who it is. It's because they're jealous. It's not because of who it is. And if you allow other people to dictate to you your path and who you are and who you're going to be, you're going to remain a slave to others. Okay? People do not like to see other people free. People like to see other people in chains and in boxes. This is the total opposite of what a true spiritual master wants for you. A true spiritual master wants to empower you and give you everything that you need and take you through the process so that you can be free, so that you can be your own master, so that you're no longer a slave to your emotions, a slave to other people's thoughts and desires for you, a slave to your thoughts, a slave to dramas, a slave to traumas, etc., etc., etc. Freedom from all of that is the most valuable thing that you can get. It's also going to require you to sacrifice a lot. And in including in that sacrifice, it's going to be people that you may have thought were for you. But you will be awakened to the fact of how few people are actually for you. How many people are actually against you. How many people would rather see you down than up? Okay? Oh, thank you. Exactly. A lot of people in places of power, okay, they want to hold people down. All of your religions and your governments and everything was designed and built to control you. I don't belong to any religion, but I am very religious. I'm very religious in the fact that my life is my religion. How I live is my prayer. My prayer is how I live. Okay? How I live is my prayer. And there is no higher prayer than how you live. And I've met many people, including Hoodoo, okay, who was an example of that. My grandmother, who was an example of that. Hi, Aoife. Hi, Becky. Right? How you live should be your prayer. There is no higher prayer than offering and dedicating your life. A lot of people, okay, like to come and nitpick at people who actually contribute to and criticize to people who are actually contributing to the world. My grandmother always say, el que no hace nada tiene mucho que decir, el que está haciendo no dice nada, which says that the person who's not making any contribution always has lots of criticism. They have lots of things to say. The person who's making a contribution to the world has very little to say. He's too busy making a contribution. And I know a lot of people, and a lot of people who are here in my comment section, a lot of you guys are contributors to the world. You either contribute your art, you contribute your spiritual work, you contribute your time, okay, to me, okay? Can't no one come to me and criticize any spiritual worker for anything, because spiritual workers, not only are they working on themselves and are they a work in progress and are they living their lives just like you are, but they've also chosen, made the conscious effort to sacrifice a part of their lives to help others. Okay? To help other people that they don't even know. I've helped tons of people that had they seen me in their same condition in the street, they wouldn't have lifted a finger to help me. Okay? Just because they didn't know me. And yet, spiritual workers help people all the time, whether or not they know you. Because the ultimate spiritual worker only believes, let me decline this here, only believes in one family. And that's the human family. And which we're all a part of it. Right? But they will never say it to your face. Right? A lot of people are many quick, just exactly what I was going to say. You took the words out of my mouth, okay? A lot of people are very quick to judge and to criticize. There's some people that the only time they're going to leave comments on anything of your stuff is to criticize, critique, or try to break something down. And these individuals are generally pretty miserable. There are also individuals who are not contributing anything to the communities they are a part of. Okay? They're taking from the community. They might be doing spiritual work and making money in the community. Hi, Lynette. But they're not contributing back to the community. And that's the difference, right? Real spiritual workers, they're contributing to the community. I mean, I have my sister here, Ifa Saludos. I have my sister here, Ifa Abello. I have Mambo Sandy here. I have Mambo Tanya here. Okay, and I'm talking on behalf of Hoodoo Saint Moise as well. I have Mambo Star. Okay, Mambo Toya, Mambo Shoshana. Lots of people that actively make a contribution to the community. Right? We make lives. We put out information. We make posts. We're constantly contributing to the spiritual community. And those are not all the spiritual workers that I know. I know tons of other spiritual workers, but everyone's making a contribution. The only people that sit there and nitpick are the people who aren't doing anything. And that goes the same for you, even if you're not a spiritual worker. If you're not a spiritual worker, whether or not you're a spiritual worker, it doesn't matter. If you are contributing somewhere, okay, you're contributing in life, you're contributing back to the earth, there's going to be a lot of people that have a lot of criticisms for you. They're going to have a lot to say about you. Okay? But they're not giving anything. They're not doing anything. They're not contributing anything to anywhere in their lives. And misery really does love company. Right? When you meet someone who's really spiritual, who's really on the path, sometimes this person is going to inspire love in you, and sometimes they're going to inspire fear. A lot of people, when they meet a spiritual master, they become really afraid. They don't want to go to the real master. They'd rather go to someone false because that makes them feel comfortable. Because always they've dealt in the false. Always they've walked in the false. And so what they know and what they're comfortable with, and people are comfortable with what they know, is the false. And so when they come upon a real spiritual master, they become frightened. They become afraid. That's what I say to my people. I say, if you find someone, if you meet someone who's spiritual and they inspire some fear in you, go to that person. That person has something that can transform you. If they inspire a great love from you, go to that person. If they inspire you to make tons of judgments about them, go to that person. Because through the fire you will be transformed. In fact, there is no other way. Through the fire you will be transformed. And spiritual workers are not know-it-alls. They don't know everything under the sun, and yet they know it all. I'm going to let you sit with that and soak that in and try to figure out what I'm saying to you. Okay? A lot of the things that people really feel is important has no importance whatsoever. A lot of the pettiness that you feel important has no importance whatsoever. Death clears it all. Death cleans the slate. Death shows you what's important and what's not important. And a lot of the fights and problems and worries that you had on your head, okay, they're going to continue on, and they're not of any worth. Okay? They're not of any worth, because once you're dead it doesn't matter. So don't hasten your death. Don't make your death come sooner than it needs to come by worrying about things that don't matter. While you're on your spiritual path, you're going to lose people. You're going to lose family. You're going to lose friends. There's going to be times where you're totally alone. If those people were for you, they'd be there with you. And if you've lost them, there was no loss. And there's going to be times where you're going to come upon certain people in your spiritual path that are stepping stones. Okay? They're stepping stones for you to be further on your path. You may not be meant to stay with that person forever. You may be meant to have that person help you to reach a certain point to get to where you're supposed to be going. Right? The spiritual path is a very beautiful path, but it's not an easy path. It's one filled with many blessings, but it's also one filled with many hardships. You're going to see the truth and a lot of ugly things that you're not going to want to see, that you were blind to before about other people. But don't do what many people do and jump quickly to make a judgment on what you see. Right? I don't make judgments on what I see. I've had a lot of people who had tried to attack me or tried to cut me down, and later on when they grew up a little bit, end up being right here and being my student, being someone who I mentor, being someone who I help spiritually. Okay? A lot of these people are severely hurt individuals. And me, personally, I don't pay attention to the tantrums of children. When you're young on the path, you're going to throw many tantrums. You're young. I'm an elder. I'm not going to be moved by every tantrum you throw. Right? It's like my old aunt, Wanda. You could throw a temper tantrum all you wanted. She ain't gonna pay you no mind. She gonna keep on smoking her cigarette. And Wanda gonna keep living her life. And she's gonna look at you like you're foo-foo the fool for a second. And then keep on. When you're finished and tired of screaming and yelling and jumping up and down and wasting all your energy, you'll stop. Right? So for those of you, right? For those of you who are on the path and who are like, wow, the path is hard. Wow, a lot of people, have betrayed me, have left me, this and that has happened to me. Don't pay attention to that. There's going to be many haters. There's going to be many haters. Take any successful person on the globe, any successful person in the world, and you're going to find lots of people who like that person, and you're going to find lots more people that hate that person. And they're going to hate that person. They're going to make up reasons to hate that person. But in reality, it's just their own misery being projected. It's their own grief. It's their own sadness. Miserable people cannot do anything but be miserable. And it's not entirely their fault. It's not entirely their fault. Okay? But what is their fault is making the choice not to grow up. Making the choice not to make an effort to get themselves out of the hole. And a lot of people like to make lots of judgments on people who are actually active spiritual workers out here. Let me tell you something that Gede said to me a long time ago. And it's absolutely true. In order to become a great saint, you need to become a great sinner. You're going to have to go on through a lot of crap. You're going to have to done lots of things wrong. Made lots of mistakes, but also done lots of things wrong, inappropriate, wrong. Okay? Everyone has a past, darling. We could all sit around dragging bones out the closet. So you're going to have to be a great saint. To be a great saint, you have to be a great sinner. Okay? How can you say that you're done with something that you've never even tried? It's actually going to control you and control your mind. This is why most of the people that people consider saints, I don't. Most of the people that people consider holy, I don't. Okay? You're not holy or saintly if you've had no life experience. There's a difference. The person who was a criminal and made a transformation and now is not a criminal, that person's holiness has more value than the person who never stole a thing in their life. Okay? A person who has done things wrong and made the work and the effort to turn things around has a lot of value. And a lot of people, when you're on the spiritual path, they're going to be jealous, but they're not going to say that they're jealous. Instead, they're going to try to make you miserable with them. You're going to have vultures circling around you, waiting for you to be asleep. You're going to have vultures circling around you when you're eating, waiting patiently so that they can come up and pick up any scraps. Okay? And they're going to be waiting to just eat at you or take your scraps. And that's what I've seen. Yep. There are people who are even jealous of your problems. Okay? And that's what I've seen. And I've seen it, and it's really ugly. And the beautiful ugliness about it, because even that which is ugly has beauty within it. The beautiful ugliness about it is that they show their cards. They show themselves. Okay? Any spiritual worker worth their salt has had a hard background, has had difficulties, has made mistakes and learned from those mistakes. Okay? In the words of Medea, it's not about where you've been, baby, it's about where you're going. And a lot of people want to hold you back based on where you've been. But it's not about where you've been, it's about where you're going. A lot of people want to hold you back and try to keep you stuck. And it's because it benefits them. It benefits them to keep you stuck. Okay? No one in the globe is 100% a saint. And in fact, if they haven't had some time as a sinner, they can't be a saint. Because their humility comes with a condescendingness. Anybody who has never been prideful, arrogant, and cocky, their humility is an act. It has no value. They end up taking pride in being humble. And that false humility, which they're so proud about, they lord it over others. They lord it over others. The difference with the real spiritual worker is that when we gonna go all the way. And not everyone's gonna like it. But we're not here for likes. A lot of people get that misconstrued. A lot of people forget that. A spiritual worker is here to take you to the next level. And here to destroy your falseness. And destroy that which you've known. You're going to have to pass through a fire. And if you can pass through that fire, then you can become gold. If you can take the pressure, you'll become a diamond. Okay? You'll become a diamond. But there is no diamond without pressure. And the spiritual path is going to put a lot of pressure on you. And when those people come showing you their nasty sides, Don't concern yourself. Learn from it. Use it. Why does it bother you? Because I've always told everyone from day one, okay? Like I told you, I've been doing this work since 1989. That's one. And I've been online since 2000, 22 years. I've had lots of people come for me. Lots of people try me. Right? And generally, I just think it's cute. But, if anything, it didn't disturb me. Okay? What it said to me is, let me see what I can gain from this experience. If it bothers me, why? Why? I don't worry about the opinions of children. And there's many children playing house in the spiritual community. Children playing house, playing grown up. Because there are certain things that true adults do, true spiritual adults do, and there are certain things true spiritual adults do not do. Unfortunately, for the vast majority, they weren't raised and they didn't have time to be around spiritual adults. Instead, they ended up with children masquerading as adults, pretending and playing house. Okay? When you pretend that way, the only person you hurt is yourself. Because as long as you're in the fake, you can't reach the real. You can't reach the truth. You're holding yourself back for other people. For other people that when it comes time, when it's time to put you in the ground, those people are going to be nowhere to be found. Those people, you will not be able to find them. They will not be at your funeral. They won't be there for you. So, one thing on your spiritual journey that you're going to have to develop, if you don't have it already, some thick skin, is people's opinion. People's opinions and people's ideas and judgments of you. Because the people who like to judge you the most are the people who are also not doing anything. The people who will have the most to say about you may even be people who've never met you, never even spoken to you. I don't know how many times I've heard stories from other individuals. Stories from other individuals like, oh, so-and-so said such and such about you, about me, a person that I never even met, a person that I've never even spoken to. They know me so well. They have so many opinions about little old me. I'm glad I'm famous, ho. I'm famous in your life. Because you're concerned with me when I didn't even know you exist. And that's going to happen to you on the spiritual path. Mwah. Mwah. That's going to happen to you on the spiritual path. There's going to be lots of people with lots of opinions about what you're doing. That can be family, that could be friends, that could be your partner. There's going to be lots of people trying to sabotage you in what you're doing. That can be family, that could be friends, that could be your partner. That could be your godchildren if you have godchildren. Okay? Right? That can be any of those people. And you're going to have to be diligent. Vigilant and diligent in pressing on and pressing forward. And there are going to be people that you are going to think that are going to be there with you forever and not be there with you forever. And there are people that you're going to have to move past. And there's going to be people that you're going to have to run over because they won't get the hell out your way. Right? Remember simply, the people that are not doing anything with their lives are always the people with the most to say. The people doing something with their life, the people living their life, okay, the people really on the path are too busy. They're too busy. And someone, Goddess Mother said here, nobody know more about you than a mofo that heard about you. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have one person that acts as if they know my entire family and my entire family line, never even met me, never spoken with me, and never met anyone in my family. On the other hand, I have Mambo Sandy, and Mambo Sandy's been with me for a long time, y'all. Like, long, right? 15, 16 years, right? That she has met me. She knows my family line. She's seen pictures of my family line. She's seen pictures of my grandmother. She's seen pictures of the altars. But you'll have people out here who don't know you from Adam, who don't know you from a can of paint, which will have so much to say about you. And so many people will make a judgment on you based on what they've heard from others, not understanding that those others have their motivations for speaking on you. I've had a lot of clients who come to me like, I never even knew who you were, but I went to this other spiritual worker and they were talking so much crap about you that I decided I had to come see for myself. And I was like, congratulations to you for thinking for yourself, because very few people have that capacity. And that's something that very few people have, is the capacity to think for themselves. That's something that someone really on the spiritual path has a strong capacity to do, is to think for themselves. Okay? And let me tell you, when I was young, we used to go to church because of my grandfather. My grandfather was a Christian. You know, I felt bad for him for that. But it helped him, right? We used to go to church for that. And I used to go to Sunday school. And at 8 and 9 and 10 years old, I always got kicked out. Every single time. The reason I got kicked out was because I thought for myself. And so when I would ask questions, and I wasn't being smart, I was asking a serious question to the teacher, like, well, if this, then why is that, and why is that? I would get kicked out because I didn't just believe. I didn't just believe in a book that some guy wrote. I wouldn't just shut up and believe. But I was lucky. I was encouraged by my grandmother to think for myself. And my grandmother couldn't see why I was having the issue for over having a question. Why? Because these people who were teaching were not teachers. They were great memorizers. They were great at memorizing shit and parroting it back to you, blah, 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 whatever they've been told. But they hadn't investigated for themselves. I remember at one time I asked a question, and it got me in trouble, which I didn't mind, right? It got me in trouble. And my question was, well, mothers know that if they tell their children not to eat those cookies, that the children is going to want to eat the cookies. Why is it that God, knowing everything, put a tree in the Garden of Eden and say, hey, don't eat from that tree because it's really special, and then expect people to not eat from the tree. It seems to me like that God was a sadomasochist. They didn't want to hear that. They wanted to give me some BS about it being a test. Why would God test people who don't know any better? That doesn't make any sense. Unless he wanted to eat from the tree. He wanted them to eat from the tree. And on top of that, if there were all these trees around, why even mention it? Had he not even mentioned it, they probably never would have eaten from the tree. They had tons of other trees to eat from. They probably wouldn't have even noticed the tree. But now that you say to them, don't do that, it's just like a child. When you say, don't do that, that's what he wants to go and do. And if God knows it all, then why didn't he know that? Okay? Why didn't he know that? Oh, he knew it, but he was testing them. Oh, so God is a masochist. Because these people that he just created are basically infantile. They're still children mentally. They're still children mentally. So why would he even put them there? Why even mention it? Don't mention it. If he had not mentioned it, they may have never ate from the tree out of their own sense. They might have been like, we got other better stuff to eat here. So I got kicked out over that. And when they went and talked to my grandmother was like, well, why didn't you answer the question? You know, yo no vi, yo no veo lo que hizo. I don't see what, okay? I don't see what was so wrong with the question. It's because many people are parrots. And someone here said, God is cunning himself. He's also the darkness since he made it. He is the darkness. That's a whole nother topic. He's everything, including Satan. But that's a whole nother topic. Maybe that's in a topic that I'll discuss with my people on one of my groups. I have the Mystic Mavericks group. So that's probably a live that I'll do for that. Right? Because, you know, there's so many things that are planted, okay, into other people. And people are being and you're programmed like a little computer, like a little zombie. And then you wonder why you're miserable. Because you've never been free. And anyone who's never been free, all the way free, is going to be miserable. You cannot be happy in a jail. Okay? You cannot be happy in a box. It's just not going to happen. So, remember, on this spiritual journey, there's going to be lots of people. And throughout those people, there's going to be people that visit you in your life. There's going to be people that are pass-throughs. There's going to be people that are there for you. Okay? And really be there with you and stick through the thick and thin with you. And there's going to be people that are going to betray you. There's going to be people who kick your back in. There's going to be people who want to see you miserable. Don't let them. Like I always tell all my godchildren, the way I love to do for my enemies is I like to show them me doing well. I don't like black candles. Personally, because I don't like wasting money. And my enemies aren't worth a dime or a dollar. And so I wouldn't throw even $1 away on a candle against an enemy. Okay? If anything, I'm going to use that same dollar and I'm going to lift me up and I'm going to shine in front of my enemy. Hate that. Alright? So I always say to them, don't get your hands dirty. Your hands are never going to be clean dealing in the trash and in the garbage. You're famous to them. Enjoy it. Everybody wants to be famous, but when you get to be that famous where people are talking trash on you, you're like, oh, why me? People are talking trash. I don't like it. Tons of people talk trash on Beyonce, on Drake, on Jay-Z, on, whoever. Why? Mainly out of jealousy. Mainly it's that. Mainly out of misery. Jealousy and misery, very ugly. And in the spiritual community, there's a certain jealousy and ugliness and competitiveness that sometimes I'm like, am I really here or am I in like church again? Is this like church or the mosque or the synagogue? Because that's the shit that they do. Am I in the Hindu temple? Like, am I in some religious institution? Because that's what they do. That's what they teach you. That's what they teach you. I don't hate anyone. And really, I don't have any enemies. People may believe themselves to be my enemy, but they might not like me, but for me, they don't even exist. So you can't be my enemy because I'm not going to give you any of my force, any of my energy. It's too precious. It's gold, baby. And nobody gives out gold for free. Alright? So, I just wanted to mention, one last time, last few things, okay? One is I'm having a raffle drawing for anyone who shares my content. If you share it, let me know. Hey, I'm a sharer. Okay, let me know because Facebook doesn't always do that. Or if you write a review on my newest book, Espiritismo, Puerto Rican Mediumship, and Magic, send me a screenshot of that review, and I'll send you a free raffle ticket. The drawing is going to be on March 3rd. Secondly, I have a class on domination work this Saturday at WitchCon. Next Saturday, the 26th, we have a spiritual misa, a spiritual ceremony of reunion. You can come virtually or in person. That information is up on Facebook. Thirdly, right, I want to give some honor. I lost a very important spiritual brother to me. He was actually the one who helped me get connected with the publisher, Hoodoo Saint Moise, who helped me get connected with the publisher so I could write the 21 Divisions, Mysteries and Magic of Dominican Voodoo. And one thing I want to mention about that is that I've been in this community for 22 years, meaning online, in the community since 1989. Throughout the years, I knew many, many authors, many, many spiritual authors, right? And I find it interesting how many of them even encouraged me to write a book. Many of them never gave me the hookup to the publisher. But my brother, Hoodoo Saint Moise, always backing me up and encouraging the work, right? He did hook me up with the publisher and make the connections for me so that I could write the 21 Divisions, Mysteries and Magic of Dominican Voodoo. And so basically that's all I have to say today. I hope all of you are doing really well. Stay true. Think for yourselves. Don't let other people do the thinking for you. Lots of love, blessings. Keep the faith and stay safe. These streets is rough, baby. Watch out in these streets, okay? Because really, really, the Spirit made mention earlier this year about how things was going to be in these streets, and people is calling me all the time, having dealt with exactly that, exactly what the Spirit said was going to happen. So watch out in these streets. Many blessings today and always, and keep the faith.